BFM 89.9, the business station. It's Caroline and Uma with you here on the Evening Edition. And today we're talking about the Helping Angels Speaker Congress 2012. Whose objective is actually to foster green humanity, compassion, kindness, and empathy to humanity and Mother Earth. That was quite a mouthful, wasn't it?
It was.
Yes. International Pay It Forward Day is on the 26th of April. To mark this day, a network called Helping Angels will be holding that Speakers Congress as a reminder of the power of giving. So to tell us more about it, we have the founder of Helping Angels, Poesy Liang. Welcome. Nice to have you here with us.
Thank you. What a pleasure.
And also with us, Tsunami survivor, and also, I think you'll know her better as a traffic announcer for AM3 Radio Networks, the lovely Priscilla Patrick. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us. Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
Quickly, what is the traffic like on Jalan Tun Razak?
Right now, I wouldn't know.
She's here in the studio.
You think he's psychic or what?
All right, back to Helping Angels. Posy, let's just start with the basics. How did Helping Angels come about? Tell us what it is, how it works.
Well, Helping Angels is a movement of compassion based on random acts of kindness. So how did it come about? Randomly?
Right? Random acts of kindness. I mean,
Yes.
that seems a little odd. There's no strategy to it.
It's so simple because it's so random, right? What is your perception of kindness? You think. And it's your own brand of kindness, right? If you want to pay for someone's toll behind you in the traffic jam and give the person a funny surprise, which costs 50 cents,
Right.
our toll's still 50 cents.
No, it's slightly more.
See, I haven't been paying the toll. So, if you do something like that, it not only buys you a random surprise of a burst of happiness,
Yeah.
it also does it for someone else. So it's so fun.
But you're right, it really makes someone's day, right?
It does.
It could be $1, it could be
Small thing.
50 cents, but they feel really good about themselves afterwards.
Yes, and I would imagine so. But I mean, what inspired it? Were you the recipient of
Yes,
these random acts
plenty.
of
It's
kindness?
not even so random anymore because it happens all the time. So if you get touched by something like that, you pay it forward.
Exactly.
Right.
I was just going to agree with that one. Do it to somebody else.
Yeah.
When someone tries to pay you back, you just tell them,
Yeah.
no, you go and do it to somebody else.
Ah, very
so
nice.
That random act of kindness just keeps going on.
I need to speak with you after the show. I need
Sure.
a loan. of salt.
I mean,
I can loan you my bike. Yeah.
so how good are Malaysians at doing this? I mean,
I
how
think we
good
have
are-
a lot of good Malaysians out there, actually, despite how the media likes to give focus to slightly negative things, because those things sell stories, right? So, I was involved in a car accident. I'm talking to some traffic people here. Because I have a disability in my legs, so I don't actually feel my legs very well. And I had to drive that day. And I got into an accident. And the offended party, was so kind to me. I cried. And the guy was like, I'm not trying to, tipu you or anything. I'm like, no, you're so kind. Thank you, because I was ready to collapse that day. And that really meant so much to me. And just one story like that. There's so many stories. I can sit here for 1 year.
And for Helping Angels, what do you? I guess the key word is KPI, right? How do you actually
We
gauge
don't have
how
KPI,
successful you
see,
are?
I don't even go and work for anybody, so I don't care about KPI. The KPI is your own checklist.
How do you gauge
So
it?
how do you gauge the success? Yeah.
You see, how do you measure your happiness?
There is a happiness index, if I'm not mistaken.
There's a global happiness index.
And Costa
correct.
Rica is right up there.
Was it Costa Rica? I thought it was Nepal or something. Oh, Costa Rica, okay. So I think there is but you're right. It's not something tangible, is it?
Yes, it's not a very feasible topic to talk on the business channel, but there is there are profits in this. So that's what I want to bring, because it's like so random, it sounds almost hippie, but I want to connect the dots to the leadership level. So Helping Angels randomly evolved into a leadership thing. So it's a self-leadership thing, right? Each of us are so blessed, and we have the ability to make self-leadership decisions. Like today, I'm not eating beef because that's CO2. So
Yes.
small contribution. Just don't eat one meal lah.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Random act toward Mother Earth.
All right, Pris, tell us, how did you find out about Helping Angels to begin with?
It was actually a very chilled out evening, and banging ideas with Poesy, and this thought came along. And of course, one thing led to another. The thing with Poesy, we suggest something, that's it. It's gonna go sky high rocket. Which is really fast. But
Right.
when we talked about it, and it seemed like it was a really interesting thing to do, for me and my part, I didn't realize that, these random acts of kindness amidst my travels, because I backpack a lot. And when she started talking about it, I realized that, hang on, that's something I've been doing so far, and it really puts a smile on people. I've met travelers who've run out of money. I've had travelers who had their money rejected because the country they're in and doesn't accept the currency. It has to be crisp new and stuff like that. And I didn't mind exchanging. Even in KL, I've met a man at Pudurai who just was in a shirt and a tie and really smartly dressed, and asked me if I could just loan him 5 ringgit because he left his wallet back in Klang.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that sort of stuff happens to everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. I usually give them a lecture about not spending it on alcohol. But,
Yes. I gave him 10, and I told him to buy breakfast along the way.
Oh.
But the thing is, and of course, I'm sure all of us would have had one of those drivers that drives up to your house and asks you that. And they'll put it back in your post box for sure. And what gets us down is because we expect that to happen. But if you just give it away and you don't expect it to happen, that act of kindness comes back not to you directly, but possibly to your parents, your siblings, in one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, more often than not, I guess, it's like, just keep it,
Yeah.
have a good day, right?
Yeah,
Instead of
yeah.
saying, I want it back in my postbox by noon
Yeah,
tomorrow.
exactly.
But
No, even
this
if-
thing about compassion, right? You need to apply it with wisdom. There is such a thing called idiot compassion, right?
Carry
so
on.
see, a lot of people are cynical because they are faced with idiots and idiot compassion all the time.
So what's
so
idiot
now,
compassion?
Idiot compassion is like giving someone money when the person want to go and buy cigarettes.
Also correct.
Okay? So now, sometimes if someone comes up to us and they're like, then I said, sit down and order all you can eat, right? We're in the Dai Pai Dong. All you can eat. Sit down, all you can eat. I'll pay for everything.
That's what I do when I travel.
So which is
Because
quite fun when they
Yeah.
do that. I sit there and I stare at them.
you have kids coming up to you and asking for money, and then you see it almost in every country. I don't give them money. I would run in and buy like a loaf of bread or a sandwich or a little packet of biscuits. I've got it thrown back at me. Some have accepted it, but
Because they're like, I can't buy cigarettes with bread.
yeah, the children.
It's
Yeah.
also the,
But it's a syndicate.
It is, of course. That's what.
So that's I don't condone to that. So if I see someone who begs, I'm not going to give money. I'll pay for their meal, or I would buy them a meal or something like that.
So the larger objective, is it basically just to build a lot of goodwill?
Without
yes.
without
So
intending to, it comes naturally from your heart.
So-
Compassion.
look, Helping Angels is built on 4 very strict rules. First one is no fundraising, which means no handling of material donation of any sort. Second is no commercial marketing. So if somebody wants to come and sponsor something, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take photos with you and have it all over the newspapers.
Right.
It's not a branding process. It shouldn't be, but it is actually. So hang on. So the third one is no political rallying. Fourth one is no religious evangelizing. So
Right.
all the ulterior motives have been taken away.
Yeah.
And now it's up to your creativity. How do you go about it? So
How hard is it to raise funds without any sort of political leanings?
it's actually quite simple. We don't raise funds at all, right? We don't.
How hard is it to do it without any political leanings?
It's easy lah. If you use your resources, you can do anything. Right.
And I guess
And you
people are
just
more
ask.
open to it as well, right? Because they don't feel like they're being taken advantage of.
Yes,
They're like, oh, there's no
exactly.
politics, there's no religion, there's
Yeah.
no.
It's a very.
Also, if you just ask nicely, sometimes it really works.
So we have all these activities that happens without even a single cent raised, right? So like this upcoming project, it's a leadership thing, self-leadership thing. Now I'm making it easy for everyone to do random acts of kindness, like Priscilla to tell her story and use her voice is something she does for a living, and so easy to her. She can do it like sleeping, right? So, and she's already with that. causing the hugest impact. So now there is the putting out the least energy and the largest profit. Okay? So, like me, I can sit around and think about all these things. Let's bring 60 kids to watch a movie. So do we need to lay out a single cent? No. Somebody will have a bus owner angel who sponsors the bus ride. We have somebody who works for McDonald's management who sponsors the 60 Happy Meals. They just give it to us.
Right.
And then the Tanjung Golden Village chips in the same way. Bird Park chips in the same way. And all these are individuals making these decisions, and it doesn't cost the bottom line much.
Because, of course, you're asking them for their
Such
little
a
things,
simple
right? They're
thing.
little things that kind of build up in a very, very big way.
Yeah, so when we all put together our smallest resources in the smartest possible way, it becomes very profitable.
And it can actually affect the most number of people, too.
Exactly. So, and then does it harm us? No. It makes us wake up a little bit happier sometimes. So that's profitable, I would say.
That is very cool. How have you found growing something that's so organic? Because obviously you have no control over this. Like there isn't like a structure for you to follow, right? So how is growing
I'm learning.
something like
I'm
that?
You even
learning.
keep tabs on it.
I'm crazy lah, you know.
She is.
But
Why don't you send you messages, Prince, in the middle of the night going, what
Yeah, I
random
just-
act of kindness did you do today?
Can we do it 3 a.m.?
Yes.
When
Yes.
she goes, hey, what do you think? And I'm thinking, oh my God.
one day, I was like, I'm gonna print some Helping Angels sticker. She's like, what sticker? Car sticker. Good idea. Then 5 days later, I
Yeah.
turned up with like
1,000.
1,000 copies. Car sticker. She's like, I better be careful what I say in
Somebody
front
did
of
a random act of kindness and printed out.
I just said
Stickers.
it at dinner. After that, I was like, we got this great idea. We're going to put a car sticker on our members so that on the road, you see a helping angel person driving, you immediately get reminded to practice a good deed. So, like, let the person pass first. Don't swear.
Indicate every time. Sorry, I had to put that in.
Yes.
So
Imagine.
that's her contribution. Just one crazy idea and it happened.
You know what? It gives me a sort of like a law of attraction sort of feeling.
Oh, exactly, right? That happy people inspire more happy people.
That's right.
Depressing people kind of inspire people to be depressed.
But we're not trying to be hippies here, yeah? It's,
No, no,
it's
no.
not a new age thing.
This isn't the secret.
No, it's not a secret. It's been around for so long. It's not even an original idea that I came up with. I just plucked it out of the sky.
Actually,
And
there was a really bad movie with Haley Joel Osment and Kevin Spacey.
don't watch TV, so I actually don't know what you're talking about.
There was a movie called Pay It Forward.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that. I love that.
Priscilla, you are a tsunami survivor, and I mean that was reported all over the news. I remember, when it happened many years ago. But this will be the first time that you're actually coming out and telling your story, and we have an exclusive here at BFM.
Yeah.
We're going to hear the story first. So, Pris, all yours.
Okay, well, as you know, it was 8 years ago. It was the end of the vacation. We were supposed to come back. And I think that night we took a bike out and we rode all the way to the southeast of Sri Lanka. And we were actually staying at the tip. So when we came back, there was some, warning signs, but didn't really think about it. I was having a shower at 11:30 in the night, like about 7 to 8 centipedes started coming out. And I was like putting shower gels, and then I told my friend, I said, just watch out, centipedes are coming out, don't know why. I was sitting out, suddenly there was like a whole, at just one point, sandflies just came. This is like 4 in the morning, so it was already rumbling, I think, in Bandache. And then the dogs went out and howled and went back in. Then we crashed about 4, I think, in the morning. But I woke up at about 7:30, did the usual run to the loo, came back. So I was reading a book in bed, and there was this woman who was screaming on the beach. And I was thinking it's a bit odd, but yeah, it is Boxing Day, good times. But it wasn't the I am having fun scream. It is,
Jaws is here.
yeah,
screen. Yes.
Then the second time it was like, I think I'm gonna die scream. And the third one was the shrilling one. And that's when I woke up and I looked, and I could see from where I was, my shelter is actually on stilts, and there's like 3 feet distance to this wall where you can actually jump over or just cross your feet over. And normally there's no water there, okay? But that day the water was up to the wall, and it was spilling onto the grounds. And I thought that was a bit odd, and I called my friend and I said, I think yesterday's full moon sort of like churned up the ocean. So I stuck out my head further, and then I saw to the end of the beach, I could see chalets just breaking up like matchsticks. And so I saw the waves hitting. And of course I did the Pris thing now. I closed the door.
Because that'll make it go away.
No, I can't see, can't hurt you. And I thought,
But that's the thing. I know for a fact that you can't swim, or you couldn't
Yes.
swim at the time. I know
Wow.
this.
That's crazy, you know.
So
Yeah.
why close the door and pretend that it wasn't just in denial, or
no, I mean, it was coming, and by that time, water had already reached our grounds. The motorbike that I had rented went with the ocean backwards, and it's coming to you. I mean, it is about. I mean, the coconut trees were really, really tall, so it was way just below the fruits, so you can't even see the sky.
Wow.
So you've got the chalet roof coming down. Then what used to be beautiful blue skies was just this wall of brown water. It was just everywhere. It was just gushing in. And so I closed the door because I thought I could get out the back door. Then I realized, oops, there's no back door to chalet, right?
It's a nightmare.
And also the bar grills, the window grills. And at that point, my friend and I, we just froze. And we just looked at each other, and the whole chalet was already shaking. And then the nails on the floorboard started popping out. And that's when I freaked out. And I told my friend, I said, get the bag with the passports. Before we went out, we hid our wallet, passports, and plane tickets in my backpack. And then we went out on the bike the day before. So I
Time to
said-
do all that, huh? Amazing.
Yeah. So I told her, get the bag. Our friend was getting her clothes, putting in her arms. I opened the cupboard to look at what I could take, and the cupboard just broke. I turned on to look at her, and the bed just broke. And by that time, things were just starting to give way. The planks underneath were just starting to give way. So I opened the door, and my friend said, jump. And that time, there was no wall. There's no more ground. It's just the ocean gushing in, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're rocking back and forth. You know you're going to go down. And my friend said, jump. And I said, I can't swim. She said, just jump. I got you. And I put one leg out, and we didn't have time to jump, and the whole chalet crumbled inwards. And then now you are in the washing machine tumble. And it's a warm feeling because the water is hot. It's not when you go into the shower and you put in that yellow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that kind of hot. Warm, more hotter than warm, yeah. And,
More hotter than warm.
not hot. And yeah, at some point I saw the toilet bowl coming my way. And you know when you see this surfing documentaries and you see the tube of water underneath? Yeah, so I was in that for about 40 seconds. And you can see the sky. I mean, you can see light coming up, but it's just such a long way up. It's such a long way up. You can't come up, and you think, okay, you got to go up. You know, you got to get up to breathe.
well, is that what you were thinking, that I have to get up to breathe? Because I've seen you in a swimming pool, 4 feet of water, thinking that you were drowning and dying. So what did you think at that point?
But seriously, at that point, you're already in survival mode.
Yeah.
The mind, the brain takes control now.
Yes.
So it's telling the body what to do, and you know you need to go up. That's the only logical thing to do, right? And every time I did try to go up, it pulls you back into that tube.
Tumble.
So I saw my t-shirt being ripped off, and then I knew, and then that's the first thought of, hey, maybe today. And I thought, no, cannot be. I'm definitely, you just come up and, float. I can float, as you've seen, right? And I tried a few times, and then the thought came again, like, hang on, I think you're going to, because I was bursting for air now. And I thought, oh, really? Seriously? And that last final 10 seconds, I think about it every day, because it gives me strong. It gets me strong. And what happened in those 10 seconds is it's realizing what Catch-22 really means. You breathe, you die. You don't breathe, you die.
Yeah.
So now comes the part where you have to accept it. Of course, you can't accept it because you're in denial. Because you think you're going to live, you're going to come up. But then as you keep, wanting to breathe, you realize that's not going to happen. So then you go to the thought that, really? Is it going to happen today? I am going to die? And you go like, oh. And you're now bursting. You're controlling not to. And you know it's going to happen anytime soon. And then it happens. And the first thing that happens is water goes to your nose. And of course there's this pain that goes to your forehead. And the next thing you do is you start coughing. So whatever remaining air you had now comes out. And the next thing you do is that you take in more water. That went on like about 5 times. And now I understand why when you see drowning victims, the body is in a different, either they're fighting against or they're in a different position, not in a peaceful position. Because I started to get stiff.
Fighting for air and fighting to just breathe.
Yeah, but your whole body stiffens up. Your muscles contract. You
Convulsing.
Yeah, and that's it. And at that point, something happened, and I got pulled up. And I don't know how I got pulled up because I passed out. But now suddenly there was daylight, and there was no water in my face. I was, on top of the wave, and there was this coconut tree, so I plucked onto that tree. And when I turned around, it's just this wall of water going in. So I turned around to see what was coming, and there was another huge wall of water coming. And now I'm just like trying to breathe, yeah? Because I just
swallowed. On the coconut tree?
Yeah, I'm holding onto the coconut tree, but you're trying to breathe because there's only one part of your throat that if your lungs are full of water, I can hear it, And I'm trying to breathe, but you see this wall of water coming in, and you're going to get ripped off. And true enough, so I get thrown in backwards all the way in Superman style, and you can see it just being pushed inland. I'm trying to grab onto anything. Nothing comes along my way. I've grazed a few coconut trees, and then I found 2 ropes. One was a nylon rope, and one was a coconut husk rope. And even in that time, the human mind pulls out for the nylon rope because you think it's going to snap, right? And I clung onto that, coiled it around my palm. I had rope burns. By that point, I was naked. And I was just battling to bring my right hand forward to hold on to the rope for a longer while. And I could see 3 more waves coming. And I knew I could not hold my timing, so I kept on swallowing more water. And then I said, that's it, I'm letting go. I said, I can't hold on anymore, I'm letting go. And it stopped. It stopped. After some time, I stood up, and I realized I was, naked, and I could see my friend way in front, near the chalet. There wasn't a chalet anymore, but where it used to be. And she was calling out for me. I couldn't call out her name because I'm still trying to figure out the breathing. And it's just carnage all over. There's no road, there's no house, there's no plants, there's nothing. It just was not the Gaul I saw when I got there 10 days before. And eventually, people help us out. Random act of kindness. A man just threw down clothes for me. I walked around looking for a bag. I thought it was my blue backpack. I had to walk bare feet across the railway line, and you know how they have the sharp stones on railway lines? And you reach there and it's not your bag, and the man comes out of his house and he says, "Madam, can I help you?" And I said, I just thought it was my bag. And he said, "No, where are you from?" I said, "Malaysia." And he said, "Wait." And he gets his son, he says something in Sinhalese, and the son climbs up the coconut tree, cuts up the coconut and gives me to drink. And I'm like, I don't know how to say thank you. Maybe you should be the first person to drink. And he said, "No, you need it. Because I had bruises everywhere. I looked disorientated.
All beaten up.
Yeah, it felt like I was beaten up for a good 1 hour, And
In the washing machine.
yeah. And I took it back to the rest of the survivors, and we shared it. And then about, 2 hours later, of course, the waves kept coming back for 4 hours or so, till about 2 something. But a couple of hours later, this man walks up to my friend and I, because we've been trying, now we're looking for our bag. We need to find the passports. We don't know what happened. But we heard people saying Malaysia finished, Singapore finished, and I was thinking, Twin Towers? No way. Because we don't know what happened.
Because you've got no access to anything, right?
Nothing.
You don't have
And at that point, did you know what a tsunami was?
I knew what it was. I know.
Because I didn't.
I
No,
knew what
many
it
people
was.
didn't. That was the first time they'd heard the word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this man walks up to you.
Yes, the
Yes,
bag.
he walks up to me and he says, and so this man walks up to me and he asks my friend and I, "Is this your backpack?" And I looked at it. It is my backpack.
And your passport, everything was intact.
So
It
many
was-
miracles.
It was padlocked. Okay? It was padlocked and he didn't even break it in. I said, "How did you know it was mine?" And he said, "Buddha told me it's yours." And he opened his left palm and there was his Buddha figurine. And I said, "Where did you find the bag?" He says, "In my house, madam, 4 kilometers inland." And I said,
Whoa.
"Yeah, it just gives it."
So puzzling, isn't it?
It is. And of course, the backpack is a secret compartment where you can open up and go to the main compartment. And it's still the same wallet, still the same shades, my plane ticket and my passport.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I know this is a really obvious thing to say, but I guess hyper tragic moments like that probably just bring out the best, and you must have witnessed.
No, I was
a
not at my
tremendous
best.
amount. No, the
From
best
others.
from others.
Some people.
So you must have. So you must have
Especially the
witnessed
locals.
amazing acts of kindness. From,
So many. At some point, I think the animal in me came out because there you were. You're in this country, a foreign country. You've just lost everything. The only thing you have to yourself is your name, and even that you can't prove because you don't have any form of identification. So you're on borrowed time here. I mean, you don't belong. You're unloved. You just feel unloved. So you're looking for something to try and have a belonging to. So that was going to people's restaurants, breaking drawers, looking for candle, thinking tonight might not have candle. That's what I say when the animal in me came out. It's like, and you
because you're on
realize
survival mode, right?
exactly, and you don't see these kind of things in yourself on a normal daily basis.
Did you think about it consciously at that point when you were actually going in?
No, I
looking
didn't.
at-
I
No.
didn't. Even at some point, we found a bag, and my friend and I, we took it to a tree, and I said, "Hang on, this is so wrong. Why are we hiding behind a tree? The bag is empty." But you see, you're just looking to survive, just to find something. If money can buy anything at that point. But what are you looking for? You just want to belong.
Which brings us back to where we are when everything has happened. You've gone 360, and what's left? Random acts of kindness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how does that? And I think I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Go for
And
it.
how does that change your life?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't believe in materialism anymore. Because
Which is why you've held on to the same pair of shades for 8 years.
well, old school, or maybe for that reason. But I think when you have less attachment, it's easier to just give.
Mm-hmm.
Because I realized one thing in the tsunami is that you're not going to take anything with you when you die. Nothing. Not that beamer, not that 7 house you have. It's all the experiences. So when you live life, and for me, I travel. I love traveling, and I do these random acts of kindness, but because I just want to see people get so shocked. They're like, really?
But
Like
you brought a cake in for us. That to me is a random act of kindness.
To me, it's the
No,
best act of
it's-
kindness.
That isn't random at all.
I never show up empty-handed.
What sort of stuff do you normally do when it comes to random acts of kindness?
When I don't plan it, it's just that when
Random.
it happens, it's random. And then when it happens, it just happens. And then when you go back and you think about it, oh, hang on, like that guy I told you, Puduraya, right? And years later, my mom gets stuck in Puduraya, and she doesn't know how to use the payphone. She's right in her silence, and this lady helps her out, waits for her till I come and pick her up. I'm thinking, there you go, something that I did in 1980 something. Mom gets paid back. What goes around really comes around.
And
But you got to do it without expecting anything in return.
in return, yeah.
But at the same time, we need to have the awareness that what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
And Posey, I guess in your network and your organization, I guess you must come across people with stories like this
Every day.
all the time.
Yeah.
And
I've got a radar now. People just come up to me and say random stories. So I don't even have to ask questions, right?
yeah, no,
They
not
share
at all.
stories. And I'm like, you know what? Don't share it with me. Share it with someone else. You're going to change. Pass it on. Don't report to me.
One year later to the tsunami, finally I was ready to give back. But I didn't want to contribute in a way where I didn't know where my money was going to go.
Going, yeah.
And there was a lot of other people that felt the same way. And they were friends of mine. And what we did, we got together, sent out an email. We collected 8,000 ringgit in about 11 days or something like that. Took 4,000 to Sri Lanka, 4 for PP Island, because that's another island that holds a soft spot for me.
Yeah.
And went to Sri Lanka. I thought I had no plan. I thought I'll buy fishing nets because then you can catch fish, right? And of course, the fisherman's telling me, according to the weather, according to the size of the fishing net varies. And I said, okay, thank you very much, plan B, but then there's no plan B. So then I thought, okay, I will go to the store and get some, gas cookers and kettles. So I rented a van. I did that. I managed to get about 40 gas cookers and kettles.
For the community.
I just drove along the coast And even then, I didn't have a plan. The first house I went, I was thinking, then it started coming.
Damn random lah.
Yeah, they come and rock your van because, there's this lady out there giving out free things. So then I thought, okay, I have to have a system. So I walk into the house and make sure there's old people and young kids. Because then I know they're going to use it. They're going to cook, they can have milk and stuff like that. So then I randomly just walk in, talk to them, and just boom, give, walk out. That's it. And
You applied wisdom.
well, the island gave me back my life. I wanted to give back. Yeah.
I'm still stunned from the whole story.
I am as well. I am as well. Pretty much.
So how do you where do you go from here, Poesy? I mean, when you hear all these stories, and like you said, you tell people to go out and tell these stories to other people, right? And is there
You don't have to. You don't have to show off.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But what I mean is there a kind of a forum, books? Is there people where
So it's a
somewhere online
Facebook
where
group,
people
right?
can share?
This is just a Facebook group. It
think it's-
started 4.5 years ago.
I think it's this part of yourself that you need to discover. And stop being afraid
And
to actually give.
a lot of people look at humanitarians as freaks, as because it's so rare. It shouldn't be.
And because you can't understand it
You
a lot of the
shouldn't,
time.
it shouldn't be. Everyone has a humanitarian in them. In fact, everyone should be like that. And villains are freaks. You know what? I'm doing the whole total Powerpuff Girl thing. Turning the tables round. That's it.
Right, and so now with the Helping Angels Speaker Congress, so what's going to happen? Priscilla's going to talk.
Yes.
But what happens? As a day's event.
Yes.
And
so-
it's not open to the public as well, as
No,
far as
it's
I
not.
understand.
So basically, Helping Angels has come up with many different projects with very unique shapes and sizes. So this one is produced like a little talk show, right? So in order we're limiting the people because there are only 100 seats, and I want to film this whole thing like a film quality thing you can put on YouTube and people can watch it like a TED Talk, right? So then you can actually reach the masses, the whole world. So when you put the sound stage, just 100 people, all of them have intelligent questions, we film it and then we share it. And it's not even about the whole picture of green humanity, it's just 4 people telling stories. And with one story like Priscilla's, we have other storytellers, right? With these type of stories, it triggers experience for us. We experience the whole thing through someone else, and see compassion actually is their fears that happens to someone else. Our fears that happen to someone else would trigger compassion, and empathy does not happen until you act on it. So once you have the action, it connects you with the other person. Your heart connects to someone who's suffering. So connection of that's a paradigm shift in the head.
So can you tell us who the other 3 speakers are?
So the 3 speakers, we start with Matthias Gelber. He's the green man. He actually shaved his head bald for bald empathy movement, for the green thing, right? So naturally, I would ask him to start 15 minutes of green facts. So he talks about compassion, kindness, empathy towards Mother Earth. I'll come on and I'll talk about humanity, right? Very simple things. So basically, I will showcase what Helping Angels have been doing the last 4 or 5 years. And then the third person will be Jason Kelly, Socks for Japan, which was it was his initiative last year when the Japan tsunami happened. And naturally, Helping Angels, upon spotting that, I was in Germany, and I was staring at the TV when the waves was happening to Japan, and I was thinking, what can we do? I scored the internet and found Socks for Japan. I checked up Jason Kelly. I did my due diligence. I'm psycho like that. And then
And you have to be.
yes, and then I'm like, really cool. He asked for new pairs of socks to be in a sandwich bag and a care letter, a little care note, just like this little post-it here, right? Hey, Japan, we are rooting for you. So and so, put it in and DHL it to his office. His office is 5 hours drive from Sendai, the epicenter of the earthquake. I'm like, okay, this definitely is doable. I wrote him an email. Hey, dude, just expect some traffic from our direction. I blasted it to Helping Angels. At that point, we had 2,000 friends all over the world. And people responded. someone from, even a kindergarten kid can exercise their empathy that way. And you see, then we're all rooting for Japan. And that was such a cool thing to do. Jason Kelly has distributed 157,000 pairs of socks down coastal Japan in the last 1 year. So now that is an international story we need to tell. So I said, Jason, why don't you visit Malaysia? All right, you're coming to Malaysia, then let's do something. I'm crazy like that. Let's do something. Priscilla, let's do something. Matthias, let's do something. All right, everyone says yes. Then I'm like, okay, now, Norina, let's do something. I got these people together, and then after that, okay, now how do we maximize this time we have on stage? Record it. So that's how it happened. Yeah.
All right. So the Helping Angels Speaker Congress 2012 happens on the 26th of April, 9:30. We can't tell you where it is because it's by invitation only, but
Yes.
I'm sure you'll be able to catch it on YouTube.
Yes.
As
Wait
and
for
when
the
that comes
release.
out.
Yes, we will go into post-production as soon as we're done. I'll probably sleep for 2 days first. I haven't slept for many days.
All right. Well, keep up the good work. Poesy, thank you very much. And Pris, thank you very much for sharing your story. That was, I think we're still dumbfounded.
That's an
I'm still-
incredible
yeah.
story. Yeah.
We're glad you're here with us.
Thanks for having us.
Wrapping up the evening edition, we've got Thank Friday. It's football coming up with Ross Yusuf, BFM 89.9.